System check, 1, 2, 3. System check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, driving in traffic. And slow down slightly. And that camera is misaligned. Although the alignment kind of works out. So I can barely hear myself, and that's fine. Sorry, it's like one of those like stop for love of God cars, stop. Because traffic's just traffic. And if you saw the last clip, that was taken in the afternoon, and I'm going to reduce the volume on my headset so I don't hear that. And yeah. Hi, good morning. My name is Jack Siegel, and I am driving. Sorry, it's one of those like fun moments where it's like trying to find positioning where there's an angle where you can see the face and interact a little bit, but at the same time not crash. And the international symbol for crash. Just hit something and keep going. It's like a rollover. Okay. I felt like God was like saying, like, just go. And sometimes that's how life is. We can hear the background and like stop playing. Okay, so the headset thing still goes in, so I guess you could take it as like a monitor mic or something. Hold on. Okay, I can barely hear myself now. So I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to focus, because the positioning on this is conducive towards speaking. At least that's what I was noticing in the last one, as well as some people looking at it. They were like, yeah, you sound way better with the mics in front of your mouth. Who would have thought? And yeah, we're just starting to get the legs together, so to speak. So Kaizen, or continuous improvement. I think something else on Facebook was referencing it. Slightly different concept, or at least a different spelling. But the essence of Kaizen, which I learned, I think, there might have been, Amazon might have, like, the biography on it, might have had it, but I think it's more from the random book of the Toyota Production System, or TPS. And somehow they did a whole book on that, and I read it. And I don't know why. Well, no, I wanted to do business, so, but here we are at the moment, driving to work as a janitor. But there's something to be said about preparing for the position that you want to go into. And so stuff like that is not necessarily wasted. Going back to the idea of Kaizen, or continuous improvement, the thing is that we think that it's, well, just as an aside, I think that might have also been in Goldratt's The Goal. And so in either case, there's the idea that we think it's one monumental leap, right? That's going to be the difference between a good business to a great business, or failure to success. And what Kaizen looks at is, continuous improvement. And so where it's a lot of little tiny changes that accrue to make a big overall difference. And sometimes we don't think that does anything, but I suppose one example might be Coach John Wooden with college basketball. Specifically at this point, I never really studied his record too much. When I listen to books, it's more skimming. But the reason that he had his notoriety was because he had won several, I'm sure there's many different reasons, but one of them was that he won several college championships like in a row, and apparently that was unheard of. And the reason for that was this guy, for some people, seemed very OCD. When he first got basketball players together from all over the country, college basketball players, they've been playing up to this point a lot of their lives just basketball. He's like, I'm going to show you how to put on socks. And other people were like, what are you doing? But his reason for teaching that was because if you're, I can hear the echo, if you're running around on the court and your socks aren't put on right, you can get blisters. And it's not too bad when you're running around, the adrenaline's pumping. But when you're ready to make the three-point shot or penalty shot or whatever it is, and you don't have anything else going on, it's just you and the rim and the ball. At that point, that blister that was popped or there and the adrenaline was hiding it, now you're trying to calm down and now you can feel it. And that tiniest of distractions can make the difference between winning a game, tying a game, and losing a game. I suppose using the middle finger there, if you remove the other two fingers, you're like, yes, there was no hidden meaning there, but you can imply it. I was just thinking, like, man, that came out the wrong time. He had people eat slices of oranges, and the reason for slices of oranges was to keep up their energy levels. He originally had them eating pieces of candy or chocolate, but he found out that produced mucus, and that had a little energy crash at the end of it. Fruit didn't do that. It kept the energy levels up, no mucus, so no. And they were just didn't have that sugar crash. Other things such as the full court press, I believe, and just how to shoot a shot. Like all these things he studied in depth and brought it all together into a really good team. He also made sure that they're awesome individuals first, and then focus on trying to get them to be a winning basketball team. At least if I recall the coaching material and the books on the subject. So, great man. And yet, those little tweaks ended up helping make an awesome basketball team. But it's everything together. He wasn't known for the inspirational speeches. Once you're at the game, it's like, okay, we're here, go. Sorry, there's a, what was it called? As I'm driving through traffic and trying to merge. Is that a cool Jeep? So he was noted for his emotional control. I think at one point, way back, he lost his emotional control, which was the reason that he focused on having that emotional control. I think there might have been a good reason for it. I could be completely wrong at that point. But one comment was to give you an impression of what his emotional steadiness was on the court was when he was on the court, he's holding the paper, he's holding his arms, and it's like, oh, Coach John Wooden just raised his eyebrow. Man, stuff's getting hot down there, getting heated. I think there's a sports announcer that would have given a perfect voiceover for that. Contrasted with Vince Lombardi, who was seeming to be portrayed more as a powder keg. And yet the reason that both of them were respected and liked was because after everything was said and done, you knew how much the coach cared about you. And also there's like some fun stories about Vince Lombardi. And they were also effective. You can be a likable guy, but you can be horrible at your job, and so, yeah. or you can be really great at your job, but a really horrible person. It's really cool when you have both of them together. Okay, Vince Lombardi. So whereas Coach John Wooden was really controlled, Vince Lombardi was crazy. Again, stories, so I could be completely blowing this out of proportion. Historians of Vince Lombardi, that is untrue. It sounds like, no, that's it. So he, I think one of the comments was mentioned in the book where, you know, he would go off on the team, like, what bleep are you doing? And I think he's supposed to be Catholic or religious. And so this guy goes off on you, lambasts you, and then 5 minutes later comes back in, apologizes profusely. And he's like, guys, I'm so sorry, but I know you can do better. Coincidentally, there's I'm probably not using that term correctly, so I need to look that up. But thinking and driving. The thing is that Coach Vince Lombardi, okay, that's where we're at. There was a point when he was first bringing in his team, and you know, I believe he focused on teaching the basics or fundamentals. And you know, he has all these professional players next to him, around him in a circle, and he holds up a football. He's like, guys, this is a football. And someone raises their hand, and they're like, Coach, can you slow down a little bit? You're going too fast. And everyone, including the coach, just started busting up laughing. So that's, you know, he's human too. Well respected. He genuinely cared about his players. So, okay. Coming back, you focus on the basics. You focus on doing a lot of little things right. Sorry, there's a website, I think, or a guy at one point, Little Things Matter, I think. It's amazing how information just cross-connects within your mind, and you're like, oh yeah, that brings up that. And now we're throwing it out there. But, okay, Kaizen, continuous improvement. A lot of little things. So, you realize that, you know, eating the orange is better. You realize that doing the shot a certain way is better. You realize that your production process, there's a lot of little nuances that you can refine over time. And the thing is that everyone comes together, gives their input, and now you have something really awesome. And now that goes into having an open environment where everyone can talk with each other, whether that's a relationship, or that's a business, or that's a nonprofit organization, or whatever. Sorry, it's like, yeah, you have your terror sales. How can we do worse today, people? Or better? Cobra Command, like, all right, everyone, let's do this. Let's do evil. And you're like, that's a horrible impression of Cobra Commander. I know. And again, it's like that mental screening of information, because it's like, do you say that? Do you do that? And he went there. We went there, and we're just running with it. But that's the thing. Concepts, it's not necessarily the giant leap, but we're hoping for that. It's the incremental little things that you add in that grow. Now, in terms of development, there's such things as low-hanging fruit. There's such things as, you know, over time you're trading off. Like, the low-hanging fruit will cost a little bit but have a great impact, and then over time you have to put a lot of effort to have a little bit return. Now, how that blends with Kaizen or continuous improvement is a different question entirely. And then you start looking at business or any other dynamic, and you realize that depending on how quickly changes are introduced, for example, computers with chats where you can go over moves and versus, right now you have a basic film production crew in a phone. And with a headset, now we can at least make it a little bit easier to talk without having the issue of background noise or anything else, at least enough to test this out. And excuse me, going forward is sometimes as simple as saying, let me press the camera and go. I would say thank you, but that's only because I'm parking right now.